Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, a protest against Thom Tillis. Why demonstrators are gathered outside Carolina Country Club in Raleigh, where the senator is attending a fundraiser.
State Supreme Court showdown, a new legal chapter in a Republican judicial candidate's effort to have 65,000 ballots tossed out.
And weekend spring weather certainly off to a beautiful start with a blue sky today. I'll walk you through both weekend days, hour by hour, coming up.
Pretty good Friday afternoon on the way for you. Got those blue skies behind us. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. We begin with that breaking news in Raleigh, where demonstrators have gathered at the Carolina Country Club.
That is right where U.S. Senator Thom Tillis is attending a fundraiser right now. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live out at that country club. Carly, what's going on there?
Well, the protesters are trying to paint a really stark contrast out here from what's happening inside the Carolina Country Club, that fundraising event for Senator Thom Tillis. Several dozen people lined up on the sidewalk right here, upset about recent layoffs and decisions under the Trump administration. They want Senator Thom Tillis to come to the table and appear at public town halls. The senator's office has previously said they're canceling some of these public appearances due to a rise in death threats and security concerns that they've received.
We want Senator Tillis to talk with us, and we'd be happy to talk to him without all the shouting and everything. But we need to start a conversation, and we can't solve any of this stuff unless we talk.
We're seeing lots of signs out here, some chanting, cars driving by, honking their horns in solidarity with the protesters. And we've also noticed that Raleigh police is standing by. We reached out to the North Carolina GOP. They told us in response that it's clear left-wing agitators are working every day to threaten elected officials and intimidate anyone who supports making real change to how Washington operates. This has been calm, no signs of any violence, but we also just saw somebody out here taking video with Senator Thom Tillis's re-election campaign. And we asked if Tillis would be interested in coming out here, giving us a comment, and he said he's going to go in there and check with the team. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The State Court of Appeals today heard arguments intended to resolve an election for a state Supreme Court seat.
WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live outside that court right now with what both sides told the judge. Laura.
Dan, that race has been unresolved since November because Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin sued, basically, the State Board of Elections. Griffin is challenging tens of thousands of voters, many of them Democrats, but some of them also Republicans. He says their votes should be thrown out after the fact. Well, after two recounts, Griffin finished more than 700 votes behind Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs. Griffin says more than 60,000 votes cast in the November race should not have been counted. His attorney, Craig Schauer, told the court many of the challenged voters are missing required information in the state's voter registration database and should not have been allowed to cast a ballot.
To be clear, this case is not about changing laws after the election. It's a case about enforcing the laws that were already on the books before the election.
These rules have been in place for a long time, and there was plenty of opportunity to bring challenges to these rules well in advance of the November 2024 general election.
That's Nick Broad. He is the attorney for the State Elections Board. He pointed out that those challenged voters all had to prove their identity through voter ID before they were able to cast a ballot. The State Board of Elections has already ruled against Griffin's challenge. So has a trial court here in Wake County. So it'll probably take days or weeks to get a decision here from this appeals court. The loser of today's hearing is likely to appeal that to the state Supreme Court. So still a ways to go. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The busiest airport in Europe, London's Heathrow, will be closed all day today, and this is causing disruptions to flights all around the world. Michelle McConaughey is in the WRAL Live Center with an update. Michelle.
Yeah, Renee, we have just gotten word that lights are back on in Terminal 4. That was about 11:20 this morning when they announced that the main building of Terminal 4 has the lights temporarily back on for now. It is unclear when power to the entire airport will be fully restored. But this, like you mentioned, is causing travel chaos, global travel chaos. Heathrow shut the airport to all arriving and departing flights until at least midnight. More than 1,000 flights have been canceled at the airport. They expect this disruption to last for days. There was an electrical substation fire about 2 miles from the airport. Officials do not suspect any foul play, but UK's Prime Minister is calling for an investigation into the fire. Several airlines are now offering travel waivers or vouchers, including Delta and United. We're also hearing about prices surging at hotels right around Heathrow's airport. Some hotels charging as much as $700 a night when they would typically charge about $150.
Michelle, thanks for that. Chilly, windy start to our Friday here. It's going to give way to a pretty nice weekend, though. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now as we time out the outdoor plans.
Beautiful weather both days. Try to get outside if you can. We'll have sunshine Saturday, sunshine Sunday. And while it is a cool day today, both Saturday and Sunday, temperatures are going to climb into the low 70s. So gorgeous Saturday, 73 for the high. Copy and paste for Sunday, mostly sunny, 73 for the high. Hour by hour Saturday, it will be a chilly start. We'll start off in the low 40s, but we'll warm up in the afternoon. At lunchtime, we're at 61, and we should climb to 73 for an afternoon high. So if you want to get in a round of golf or do some outdoor things, it'll be beautiful for that. Sunday, pretty much the same thing. If you want to do some yard work, something outside, gorgeous. 43 for the low, and then we'll jump up to about 73 for the high with lots of sunshine. So the weekend is great. The next weather maker arrives Monday. I'll have the timeline for Monday's rain coming up.
A statewide burn ban went into effect 8 o'clock this morning. The North Carolina Forest Service says no open burning will be allowed. And officials say this is to reduce the risk of wildfires because of the dry and today windy conditions. This ban is regardless of any permits that were previously issued. You could face fines if you violate that ban.
One person is in the hospital after a crash in Johnson County on NC 42 near Mount Pleasant Road. This is video taken from Sky 5 just after 7 this morning. You can see one car is badly damaged, the windows and sunroof shattered. We're working to figure out how many people were involved and what led to that crash. Durham police are investigating a shooting at an auto parts shop. Officers say this happened during an armed robbery at Mavis Tires and Brakes on Hillsborough Road. They say the man who was shot has non-life-threatening injuries. A car crashed into a home in Johnson County around 1 o'clock this morning. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows damage to the front of the home on Stevenson Road. The Highway Patrol has not said if anyone was injured or arrested.
A man was injured when a freight train collided with his car this morning in downtown Durham. That crash was reported around 6:45 on North Elizabeth Street near East Main Street. A WRAL news crew at that scene saw the white sedan pushed up against a freight train there. The car did not appear to be badly damaged, but the driver was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. The crash is under investigation.
People in Durham are mourning a man who was killed after the car he was in was hit by a stolen car. 53-year-old Jermaine Clements died in that crash Wednesday morning. Police say the driver of a stolen car sped away from officers, and then the driver raced through a stoplight on Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard and hit the car Clements was in. His friends are trying to process what happened.
He was always uplifting. He was always a shoulder. It was nothing he wouldn't do for you. It's still a shock to my system that this happened and the way it happened.
Clements had been a driver for Go Durham, but he left that job because of health issues.
Authorities have identified the man Pinehurst police officer shot and killed earlier this week. The SBI says 37-year-old Sawyer Fry charged at those officers with an axe on Wednesday morning. The officers are on administrative leave, which is standard procedure.
Parents at 2 schools are learning of inappropriate videos being circulated among students. Experts say this is a reminder to talk to your kids about the dangers of sending explicit videos and texts. This week, Cary police learned of a pornography incident involving students at Panther Creek High School. Another pornographic video involving students at Carroll Magnet Middle School has circulated among kids. WRAL spoke with John Van Arnen. He's the founder of the Third Talk, which helps parents learn how to talk to their kids about online pornography. He says parents need to educate, communicate with, and monitor their kids.
We're not going to be able to put the toothpaste back in the tube with phones and with social media. So what it really comes down to is a child's knowledge and understanding and the ability to guide themselves through this process.
Wake County Schools told us they are taking appropriate disciplinary action involving the situation at Carroll Middle. A spokesperson did not elaborate on what those actions are.
Taking a look at stocks this noon, the end of the trading week, and it's going much like a lot of the week has gone. Dow Jones Industrial Average is in negative territory, down 232 points right now. NASDAQ also down just under 100 points right now, and the S&P 500. All major indices are down 47 points. Today, Johnson & Johnson broke ground on a new manufacturing campus in Wilson. $2 billion biologics facility is expected to hire over 400 people once it is fully operational. Johnson & Johnson says it will also bring education partnerships into the community. Governor Josh Stein attended that groundbreaking. Closing the book on education, where the effort stands to close the Department of Education.
Also, another Tesla vandalized, the message left behind, and why the owner just had to speak out.
Those poisoned pups orphaned. What is making these sea lions sick on the California coast? Welcome back. Right now, President Trump has made good on his campaign promise to dismantle the federal Department of Education, at least partially. At protests across the country, educators warned poor and disabled students would suffer, while the White House assured core services would remain intact. Alice Barr reports all this comes as the White House intensifies its fight with federal judges who have ruled against it.
President Trump making it official, signing an executive order
to begin eliminating the federal Department of Education once and for all.
The move aims to fulfill a campaign promise and a long-held conservative wish to transfer full education oversight to the states, where curriculum decisions are already made and most school funding happens. Protesters from Denver to Missouri, including teachers' union leaders, worry what will be lost at the federal level.
What it does fund are free and reduced lunches and special ed programs. They're hurting kids.
Abolishing the Education Department altogether would take an act of Congress. Democrats are opposed, and the White House and Education Secretary say core services like managing student loans and Pell Grants and supporting special education will continue.
We are looking at what other things we can transfer that might not need congressional approval at this point.
Some state education leaders welcome the efforts to cut red tape.
Optimizing the funds for the students, the parents, and the teachers by allowing these processes to get closer to where they are being used.
It all comes as the Justice Department is facing a new deadline today to fully answer questions about the deportation flights of alleged Venezuelan gang members. A federal judge seeking to determine if the White House defied his court order, calling previous answers woefully insufficient.
We think it's egregious that a single district judge is trying to tell the President of the United States who he can and cannot deport from our soil.
Part of a growing fight with the federal courts. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, this just in, North Carolina schools, medical clinics, and others can now be sued over COVID-19 vaccinations given to children without parental permission. The North Carolina Supreme Court overturned past rulings today and issued a new ruling clearing the way for lawsuits. The case in question deals with a 14-year-old Guilford County high schooler. He was given a vaccine even though he and his mother both later said they were against it. Chief Justice Paul Newby wrote today's ruling allowing that family's lawsuit to go forward.
Video has surfaced showing someone in Syracuse, New York, vandalizing a Tesla vehicle on the street. The owner of the vehicle is Sean Freed. His wife and mother-in-law took the Tesla downtown on Sunday to see a touring Broadway show. During that time, someone walked up to the car with a Sharpie and wrote, "This car supports Nazis." Freed says he supports people protesting, but not vandalism and property damage.
I'm happy to stand up for this and be vocal, but I'm definitely very protective of my family. It seems unfortunate to me that politics has to get into things like that, modes of transportation. In some ways, see myself as a voice for the other people who are innocent bystanders that are having their property destroyed.
Freed says he bought his Tesla for convenience and not political reasons. He has owned 3 since 2018. Police are investigating what happened.
Sea lions in parts of California are in big trouble. An algae bloom has made them sick and left some of those pups orphaned. The Pacific Marine Mammal Center in Laguna Beach has been inundated with poisoned sea lions over the past 2 weeks. Most of the patients brought to the hospital are pregnant females.
One of the unfortunate things about this toxin is that it's a water-loving toxin, so the body filters it into things like amniotic fluid. And that amniotic fluid can cause reintoxication of the moms, and then we won't be able to save the moms if they maintain their pregnancies.
Oh, so the veterinary staff has had to induce early delivery in those pregnant sea lions. Those babies, though, did not live. Many of the females likely have an older pup somewhere off the coast trying to survive alone. In the past few weeks, 20 other sick sea lions have had to be euthanized. The bloom is also affecting dolphins and other marine mammals there. Experts say climate change has worsened that situation.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking.
It's super sad.
Hope that rescue center is giving them tender, loving care there.
Work on their hands, certainly.
To get a little better. Love this shot of Dorothea Dix Park in Raleigh, and look at those pops of pink, those beautiful flowering trees and all that sunshine out there. Amy Wilmoth, what are we doing inside?
I don't know.
We need to get out there on the patio.
I know. We all have to get outside over the weekend, too. It's going to be fabulous. It'll be warmer. We'll be in the 70s, and we'll have sunshine. Really looking forward to the weekend. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh. Notice the flags there blowing in the breeze. Also notice the beautiful blue sky. It's gorgeous outside. Still a little cool out there. It's 54 in Cary, 53 in Knightdale, 53 in Garner, and 53 in Fuquay, Varina, and Holly Springs. So it's a little cool and feels even cooler when you factor in the breeze that we have. But everyone's in the low 50s now, so we're out of the 40s. We're about 15 to 20 degrees colder right now compared to this time yesterday. Just a sign that the front moved through and it brought us some cooler air. There's also still a little bit of a breeze out there. Winds are gusting at 24 miles per hour in Fayetteville, 21 mile per hour gusts in Clinton, 19 mile per hour gusts in Rocky Mount. The wind's going to settle down a little bit as we head into the second half of the day. So still pretty breezy for the next several hours. But then as we head into the latter half of the evening, the wind will settle down. For today, it's going to be beautiful. Temperatures very close to normal, 63 for the high in Durham and Raleigh, 64 for the high in Fayetteville. And then this evening, if you're headed out and about, temperatures will cool down into the 50s pretty quickly. We'll be in the 50s through 10 p.m. And then at 11 p.m., we're back down into the upper 40s. And we'll see a little bit of cloud cover roll in, but overall, it'll be a pretty nice evening, just kind of jacket weather. The next weather maker that will impact us is a cold front, and it arrives on Monday. It does bring a pretty decent chance for some scattered showers on Monday. We do not expect severe weather with this particular front. We'll let you know if that changes over the weekend as we start to get some high resolution model data. But this is a look at the timing of the rain. Monday at 7 a.m., the front will be over the western half of the state. The rain will be west of us at that point. So it looks to be a dry morning commute on Monday. We'll let you know if it speeds up and your morning commute gets impacted. But right now it looks like it's the second half of the day. 3:30 in the afternoon. So the front moving through at that point, we'll have some scattered showers. And I'll pause the clock here at 6 o'clock. Still some scattered showers. So the evening commute on Monday, we could have some rain and some wet roads to contend with. And then the front moves away from us and we'll be dry on Tuesday. But really, that's our main chance for rain in the next 7 days. We don't have any rain over the weekend, which is good. We can get outside, but we have a 50% chance for some rain on Monday, and then just a 20% chance for a couple of isolated showers on Wednesday. So Monday is the day for us to get some rain. If you need the rain, it'll hopefully rain in your area on Monday. 63 today, a little breezy, beautiful sunshine, and then tonight we get down into the low 40s, 73 for Saturday and Sunday. So anything you want to do outside over the weekend, it's really going to be comfortable. 74 for the high temperature on Monday. We do have some scattered showers that arrive the second half of the day, and that is a cold front, and it does cool us down. We'll be in the upper 60s, 67 Tuesday, 66 Wednesday, back to sunshine Thursday with temperatures close to 70. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Amy, thanks. Baking up a dream. A Durham native who spent years in prison is preparing to serve thousands during J. Cole's Dreamville Festival next month. Today on WRAL News at 4, how he applied his skills on the streets to the kitchen.
And rising wine prices. That bottle of red or white could soon go up under proposed tariffs on Europe by President Trump. At 6, how it'll affect your wallet and how it could shut down businesses across the triangle. Well, still ahead this noon, possible Alzheimer's breakthrough. Researchers may have found a new way to postpone the onset of the disease, what the treatment removes from a patient's brain to keep it healthy.
Also, loose leaf collection ends. Time to stop kicking your leaves to the curb in Raleigh. We'll tell you about your one final option if your leaf pile was missed.
A potential major breakthrough for Alzheimer's treatment. For the first time, scientists say evidence shows removing sticky protein plaques years before symptoms appear could postpone the disease. In a study, patients were treated with injections of an antibody drug every 2 weeks. Researchers say the experimental treatment clears the brain of those proteins known as amyloids. It's a key indicator of the illness, and unlike similar treatments, this one starts that process years before symptoms appear.
They are given years of dementia-free life where they're not having any symptoms. They're living normally. They're cognitively normal.
Scientists say they want to determine how strong the protection is, but their meetings to review grant funding from the National Institutes of Health have already been canceled twice. It comes as the agency faces funding restrictions and layoffs.
Loose leaf collection season is over. The Raleigh Department of Transportation made that announcement today. Crews finished the second and final round of citywide collection yesterday. So what if your leaf pile was put out late or blocked by vehicles or otherwise missed? No worries. You can still request pickup. From now through Monday, March 31st, you can submit a missed leaf collection request on the City of Raleigh's website.
The American Kennel Club has released its list of top dog breeds for 2024, and the French Bulldog continues to reign as the most popular purebred dog in the U.S. It's third year in a row for this. The nonprofit describes the Frenchie as holding a solid place as America's sweetheart. The Kennel Club's next 5 most popular breeds have also maintained their rankings from 2023. In order, they are Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Poodle, and Dachshund. Today, we're asking you, name your favorite dog breed, okay? You can pick from those 5 or pick other if you like something else.
Share your voice right now by scanning the QR code on your screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice. We will share the results before the end of this newscast. Triangle March Madness. Duke will play its first round game in the NCAA tournament in Raleigh's Lenovo Center. Why the Blue Devils can put their best foot forward this afternoon and what to expect from the other local teams hitting the court today.
And COVID, 5 years later, the lingering and even permanent impact on our nation's schools and students. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. We'll be right back.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We have an update on breaking news in Raleigh, where demonstrators have gathered at the Carolina Country Club.
That is where U.S. Senator Tom Tillis is attending a fundraiser right now. We're going to go back out and take you to that scene right now. WRAL's Carly Haynes live at the Country Club. Carly.
And we're seeing protesters out on the sidewalk across the street from that fundraiser event, the Carolina Country Club, just over there. They're showing signs and chanting towards cars that are turning in towards that event for Senator Tom Tillis. These people are frustrated with the current administration, some members of labor unions. Raleigh police standing by right now. It's just been a mix of chanting, some whistles, sign holding. Several dozen are here because they say Senator Tom Tillis is not attending public town halls to to listen to their concerns. Tillis's office has previously cited security concerns with these public town halls, citing a rise in political violence here as well. Now, we reached out to the North Carolina GOP. They offered a statement. They said specifically it's clear left-wing agitators are working every day to threaten elected officials and intimidate anyone who supports making real change in Washington. We also reached out to Senator Tom Tillis's office asking if they had a statement surrounding this protest. They said they will check with their team. Back to you.
Carly, thanks for that. Also today, fans from across the country will be at the Lenovo Center for the NCAA tournament's first round matchups.
4 games will be played, including Duke's opening game. WRAL's Eric Miller was at the arena, where tickets are a hot commodity.
Here at the big bracket outside the Lenovo Center, you can see the names of the winners from yesterday's games. They have started to be filled in here with the big question today: who is going to be joining them, including potentially Duke facing off against Mount St. Mary's later today. Duke fans have already gotten a little sneak peek of this team. During an open practice yesterday, the stands were filled with families, parents, kids, all out having a good time watching this Blue Devils team, and in particular, star player Cooper Flagg. Flagg is coming off several weeks on the bench due to an injury he sustained during the game against Georgia Tech. Yesterday on the court, he showed no signs of injury, no tape, no brace on his leg, and he says that he is feeling 100% ahead of this evening's game. For those Duke fans in attendance, this was a great opportunity to get out and make some memories.
Man, it's awesome. I got 3 daughters, so this is just one of them, the oldest. But it's so cool just watching her rep the colors and become a fan like I was when I was a kid.
I've always been a Duke fan, but sharing it with your kids is totally different. So it's an awesome experience.
And there are a lot more memories to make today. The Fan Zone, that opens at 10 o'clock. Doors for the Lenovo Center open at 10:45. And that Duke game, that tips off at 2:50 this afternoon. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Counting down just a little over 2 hours from now. UNC is also looking to move on in its first round action today. The 11th-seed Tar Heels will play 6th-seed Ole Miss in a South Region matchup today. That is happening in Milwaukee. Tip-off scheduled 4:05 this afternoon. The winner of that game will play the winner of a game between Iowa State and Lipscomb University.
The Duke women will be on the court tonight for their first round game in the NCAA tournament. They are hosting 15-seed Lehigh at Cameron Indoor. Ahead of the game, WRAL's Lena Tillett met with Duke head coach Carol Lawson for a one-on-one interview. Coach Lawson describes the secret to her team's success: unselfish players.
To find a group that is genuinely excited when good things happen or someone has a good game is special. And I think that just speaks to the character of the young women in our locker room.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
You can see more of Lena's interview with Coach Lawson tonight at 5:55 on WRAL. And in the Live Center, we are following some breaking news out of London. Heathrow Airport says some flights will resume today after fire cut power to the airport, suspending all of those flights. They said they are hoping to return to a full schedule by tomorrow. They said the first flights will bring back those stranded passengers from other airports in Europe and get the airplanes back in one place. At 11:20 this morning, we know that lights in Terminal 4 were turned back on. More than 1,000 flights have been canceled at that airport because of the power being out.
That is quite a hub there, busiest airport in Europe. A bill that would allow most adults in North Carolina to carry a concealed gun without a permit is going to the House for a vote. It passed the Senate yesterday. Legislation would also lower the age to conceal carry from 21 to 18. Under the proposal, almost anyone who can legally have a gun can carry it concealed without training or a background check. Today, a bridge in Robeson County is being dedicated in honor of a fallen state trooper. The NC 130 bridge over I-95 will be dedicated as the Patrolman James H. Marshburn Bridge. Marshburn was shot and killed along I-95 in September 1964. The ceremony to name the bridge after him happens at 1 o'clock, just coming up in a little while.
Our county-by-county coverage takes us to Johnston, Wilson, and Cumberland counties. First, the town of Clayton wants to help business owners spruce up their storefronts. You can get up to $2,000 through the Downtown Clayton Facade Grant Program. The goal is to improve the overall appearance of the downtown area. It may be new windows, paint, or an awning. Qualifying projects are eligible for a grant on a 50-50 matching basis. To learn more, you can call 919-553-5002. Spin into spring with Art Spin tomorrow. Wilson is hosting the Downtown Arts Experience tomorrow from 1 to 5. It's free and open to the public, although some events may have a small fee. You can learn more on the Facebook pages for Historic Downtown Wilson and Wilson Arts NC. Fort Bragg will host the All-American Races tomorrow. There will be a half marathon at 7 a.m. and a 5K at 7:20. Both races will start and end at the main post parade field.
Traffic alert for drivers headed to RDU International Airport this weekend. Airport Boulevard will be closed at I-40 starting at 10 o'clock tonight. This is all to prepare for the opening of a new diverging diamond interchange. You see it here on this map. Detours are in place for northbound and southbound traffic on Airport Boulevard. RDU traffic should use Aviation Parkway as an alternate route. The road should reopen Monday morning, 5 a.m.
Scooter recall alert. Segway issued a warning about their two-wheel transports, the safety concern that could result in riders taking a tumble.
Also, much different classrooms. It's been 5 years since the beginning of the pandemic. How COVID changed America's education system. TikTok will soon show Amber Alerts. The app will start pushing notifications of missing children in your area for your feeds. The TikTok tested the feature in Texas last year, and those Amber Alerts received more than 20 million views.
Segway is recalling around 220,000 scooters. The recall applies to the Segway Ninebot Max G30P and Max G30LP kick scooters. They have issues with the folding mechanism, creating a potential fall hazard. The company has received 68 reports of failures, including 20 injuries. You should stop using this immediately and contact Segway. Impact on education. A clearer picture is emerging of the pandemic's effect on school children. Coming up, how the response changed students, teachers, and classrooms nationwide.
Also, a measles travel warning. Health experts are cautioning spring breakers to be careful how you can protect yourself on vacation as cases continue to climb.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a story that we first brought you this morning about an assault on a bus on I-40. Police say Virginia man, this man here, Albert Spratley, tried to fight multiple people on a bus on I-40 with a box cutter, assaulted a victim using a broken beer bottle as well, cutting her face. Police say he was intoxicated and disruptive when they took him into custody this morning. Spratley is charged on multiple counts, assault with a deadly weapon, as well as assault on a female as well.
5 years after the start of COVID, we are getting a better idea of how it affected our children's learning. Matt Finn has a closer look at the pandemic's impact on education.
Reading, writing, and remote learning. The COVID-19 pandemic has had an immediate and permanent impact on our education system.
Everybody learned to use Zoom very quickly.
Sudden lockdowns across America in 2020 accelerated the adoption of virtual classrooms. Schools who may have been dabbling in the technology had to fully embrace online learning, ready or not.
We learned then what lack of digital infrastructure there was. We did not have technology infrastructure in a lot of the rural areas.
By fall 2021, almost all schools were back to offering in-person learning. Virginia Tech Associate Professor Donna Fortune says teachers had to adapt to hybrid classrooms, learning loss, and new tech.
After the pandemic, there's a lot of the textbooks. They created a lot of digital learning platforms for the students to use for math and reading and science. The days are long gone of standing up in front of a class for an hour and pouring knowledge into their head.
The new educational landscape highlighting industry issues, including teacher burnout and staffing shortages. Disparity.
We wrap things up this noon with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today.
We're following breaking news in Raleigh, where demonstrators have gathered at the Carolina Country Club. That's where U.S. Senator Thom Tillis is attending a fundraiser right now. And the protesters want Senator Thom Tillis to come to the table and appear at public town halls. The senator's office has previously said they are canceling some of these public appearances due to a rise in death threats and security concerns.
Today, the State Court of Appeals heard arguments intended to resolve an election for a state Supreme Court seat. The race has been unresolved since November because Republican candidate Jefferson Griffin sued the State Board of Elections. Griffin challenged tens of thousands of votes, many of them Democrats and also some Republicans. It will likely take days or weeks to get a decision from the Court of Appeals.
One person is in the hospital after a crash in Johnston County. This was on NC 42 near Mount Pleasant Road. And this is video taken from Sky 5 just after 7 this morning. You can see that one car badly damaged, the windows and sunroof shattered. We're working to figure out how many people were involved or injured and what led to this crash.
Warmer weather means a lot of homeowners are focusing on getting a great lawn, and experts say there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, you want to avoid the urge to fertilize right now. Fertilizers are most effective in warmer conditions. Second, pre-treat for weeds. Use pre-emergence herbicide when forsythia is in full bloom and make sure it gets watered in. And third, don't cut your grass too low.
You're not supposed to mow more than 1/3 of the leaf blade off at any time. So if you set your mower for 3 inches, you want to mow before it gets above 4.5 inches to prevent scalping and injuring the turf.
And instead of bagging up those lawn clippings after you mow, experts say leave them on the grass so they can act as a natural fertilizer.
Time for a pet of the day. This is Otter. He's a 2-year-old neutered male dog weighing about 35 pounds. He's a little nervous and overwhelmed about finding himself at an animal shelter, but despite his initial hesitation, he'll be quick to climb into your lap and get as close to you as he can. Otter loves people and snuggling most of all. Otter is also very interested in treats, so he will be a motivated and attentive student for anything you'd like to teach him. For more information, please visit spcawake.org.
Sip sparingly. Proposed tariffs raising wine prices. Today on WRAL News at 4, how that move could put a cork in local businesses.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can always get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great, safe weekend. Enjoy the day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.